First at 4, we're going to start with the forecast once again because the heat continues across the coastal empire and low country. We have dry conditions as well.
We check in now with Storm Team 3 Chief Meteorologist Scott Roberts. Scott, how long will this heat stick around?
Well, we are going to be looking at improvements as far as the heat in the forecast, but the conditions overall staying fairly dry. We've had some improvements in the drought situation over the past several weeks, but parts of our area is still under a severe and extreme drought, and that's part of the reason why we are experiencing some of those conditions ripe for some wildfires. We've been getting some thunderstorms, but still dry enough that the lightning is able to spark some fires. Temperature-wise right now, better shape than where we happened over the past few days, lower to middle 90s for the most part. Beaufort 98 degrees right now when you factor in the humidity. Not as bad as yesterday at this time. Most of us are feeling like the upper 90s to right around 100 degrees, and thanks to drier air being in place, the conditions will be feeling a little bit more comfortable over the next few days, and for that reason storm chances will be minimal. Clean sweep on Viper radar for us this evening, and that'll be the case for us later on with a mostly clear sky. Temperatures cooling off into the lower 80s, and as we look ahead for Friday, it looks like it's going to be mainly dry, but storm chances will be increasing for the weekend. We'll talk about that coming up in a few moments.
Scott, thank you. 2 communities in our area battling major wildfires. First, we are taking you to Camden County. This is where crews are battling a massive fire near the McCarthy overpass. That fire was started by a lightning strike in the marsh. No homes or buildings are in danger right now. The smoke, however, has impacted some roadways. WSAV's Sarah Smith has an update from fire officials on the active blaze.
Since we've been on scene, we've seen several aircrafts in the air today trying to contain this blaze. You can see one behind me just landed on Kenneth McCarthy Bridge Road, trying to get over to that blaze to drop some water as crews continue to try to contain this blaze that has reached 800 acres.
Attacking it from the air is the best and only way, according to the Georgia Forestry Commission. This because of the fire's location in the marsh. Officials believe the cause is a lightning strike Wednesday afternoon. Because of the dense smoke that night, Interstate 95 from exit 14 to 22 was closed, but has since reopened. According to Camden County EMA, there's no immediate threat to homes, though they are watching one development.
Our biggest concern was the potential that this fire was moving north, got across a body of water, and was potentially going to affect a development at the exit 22 of I-95. And that potential for the 62 homes in there, Horseshoe Cove area development, was a big concern, so we put them on what's called a level 1. Right now, it's a very low level of potential threat going towards that exit 22.
Officials say in the coming days, drivers should, of course, be careful when they're moving through the area and, of course, pay attention to any directions from law enforcement. In Camden County, I'm Sarah Smith, WSAV News 3, on your side.
In Bullitt County, crews there are working to get a wildfire under control after it escaped containment. The Georgia Forestry Commission says the fire along Bowie-Driggers Road escaped containment yesterday, and efforts to recontain it are ongoing. Right now, the fire is impacting 415 acres, about 75% contained. Meanwhile, the Bullitt County Board of Commissioners has announced that it has called an emergency meeting for tomorrow with one agenda item, a potential burn ban.
What we're really trying to do at this point is we just want to put a temporary pause on the burning so that we don't have even more fires starting. This is something we've been discussing over the last week, just kind of watching the weather to see what was going to happen. There was some rain that was forecasted last weekend. It never really showed expected.
Bennett says the burn ban, if passed, would be temporary and be in effect until conditions improve. New developments now. Alec Murdaugh's legal team believes that one of the keys to his innocence could be found under his murdered wife's fingernails. Attorneys have filed an official request that the judge order an independent laboratory to test what was found under the fingernails of Maggie Murdaugh's left hand the night that she was murdered. SLED previously determined the DNA came from an unknown and unrelated male, but the agency did not believe it needed further testing. Additionally, Murdaugh's team officially requested a change of venue for his retrial. They want it moved out of Colleton County, saying it would be impossible to get a fair trial there because of the extensive media coverage of the case. The judge could consider both orders at the next hearing in mid-August.
As summer continues, Tybee Island safety officials are asking beachgoers to stay aware of hazards and take a few precautions. WSAV's Jillian Coles has more on the calls that they're receiving.
Tybee Island Fire and Ocean Rescues say they've been receiving a number of calls, some related to heat and others related to drifting float rafts in the ocean. They say both can be prevented with some simple steps. Tybee Island Fire Department officials are warning folks to leave their floats at home. Captain Ted Rubin says that's because they can give a false sense of security and can easily be picked up by the wind, then get caught in a rip current. He says that's when it can become dangerous.
A call comes in that there's some kind of a raft out there or some kind of an inflatable. The first thing that we're going to do is investigate that, and we treat that like a real emergency. So we want to make sure that there's nobody out there that was attached to that.
And Rubin asks that you drink plenty of water starting the night before your day in the sun. Reporting on Tybee Island, Jillian Coles, WSAV News 3 on your side.
Open houses for Bullitt County schools are underway right now as students continue preparations to return to the classroom next week. WSAV recently sat down with the new superintendent of schools to learn more about his first year in charge. Dr. Torian White returns to the county after 7 years as principal at his alma mater, South Effingham High School. White had previously served as the principal of Southeast Bullock Middle School. In his interview with WSAV, he discussed multiple topics, including his theme for his inaugural year as superintendent, One Bullock.
My message for this year is simply, it's about one Bullock. I've emphasized this to our administrators, to our faculty and staff, that we may educate our students across the entire Bullitt County community, whether it's Portal, Stilson, Neville, Statesboro, Brooklet, but all together we are one school system and we're united for one purpose: to support our students and help them reach their goals.
WSAV's Evan Smoke will have more details on this conversation with the superintendent coming up on News 3 at 5.
Well, the first day of school in Savannah is on Monday. The Savannah Police Department working now to make sure you understand that the school speed zone cameras will be up and running. Officials say the cameras will be operational for 45 minutes before school begins, stay active throughout the day, and deactivate 30 minutes after dismissal. Citations will only be issued when a vehicle goes 11 miles per hour or more above the posted school zone speed limit. Now, those warnings for violations will begin on Monday, August 3rd. Enforcement and ticketing starts on Friday, the 14th.
WSAV is your local election headquarters, and we're following the Republican primary race to replace the late Senator Lindsey Graham in South Carolina. Today, former Governor and Congressman Mark Sanford began his campaign tour in the Lowcountry to gather support, and WSAV's Danielle Reddy was there.
With South Carolina's Republican primary just a few weeks away, former Governor Mark Sanford made a stop here at the Bluffton Farmers Market. He says he grew up in the Lowcountry, making this an important stop.
And so I'm running for this office because I think our country is at a financial tipping point. If we don't get this right, young and old alike are going to be really impacted.
Sanford spent the morning speaking with farmers market visitors and vendors. He's joining an already crowded race for South Carolina's U.S. Senate seat following Lindsey Graham's death. Sanford says his 8 years of serving as governor and 5 in the private sector have prepared him for the job. He tells me at this moment in time, experience on budget and spending matters most to help the next generation live out the American dream.
It's sort of a silly thing, but Mama, I can't afford a new truck is true for all too many people across the Lowcountry, across South Carolina, and unless we turn these numbers around. What you can't have is a government says, I'm going to go out and spend money I don't have, and then we'll print money that's not there, which then devalues the value of every dollar we have, so our dollars don't go as far here at the farmers market in Bluffton or a whole host of other places.
Sanford says he plans to continue campaigning across the state leading up to the Republican primary. In Bluffton, I'm Danielle Ruddy, WSAV News 3 on your side.
A new poll from Emerson College and Nexstar Media shows that there is a front runner in the special election to replace the late Senator Lindsey Graham. But we do want you to know it will likely be a tight race. That's by all indications at this point. The new poll released today shows that Congressman Ralph Norman has the lead among likely Republican voters polled at 22%. But it's not a comfortable lead, as appointed Senator Darlene Graham is right behind him with 19%, followed by Congressman Russell Fry and former Governor Mark Sanford at 12 and 11% respectively. And businessman Mark Lynch are polling at 7%. 25% of voters polled say they are still undecided. Early voting runs from August 5th through the 7th. Election day is August 11th. If a runoff is necessary, it will be held on August 25th.
The U.S. Senate race in Georgia is entering a new phase as both candidates are stepping up their attacks. Incumbent Democratic Senator Jon Ossoff and Republican Congressman Mike Collins both holding press conferences today, each taking aim at each other. Ossoff accused Collins of not doing enough to protect rural health care and renewed questions about Collins' alleged ties to neo-Nazis and white nationalists. Ossoff's campaign points to reports about a former Collins aide they say had contacts with white nationalists while working to help a Holocaust denier, as well as a neo-Nazi propagandist they say had close ties to the congressman. Ossoff is demanding answers about whether that individual was ever paid by the Collins campaign, his business, or congressional office.
It's now been 2 full weeks that Congressman Mike Collins has refused to answer how much he or his business paid this neo-Nazi. I know many of you have asked the congressman, and he's refused to answer, and it's unacceptable.
The Collins campaign firing back and accusing Ossoff of trying to distract voters from his own record. A campaign spokesperson says voters deserve answers about Ossoff's past associations and his record on Israel, adding that Collins will continue focusing on delivering results for Georgians.
Now, Time Saver Traffic, sponsored by Arrowhead Clinic, the accident doctors, where it pays to get well.
This Thursday afternoon, we are checking out traffic along I-95 northbound at Highway 21. You can see the off-ramp backing up right there, and that is causing the traffic along I-95 to somewhat slow down in that area. So we are seeing some northbound, but once you head past that area toward the low country, conditions do start to improve along the interstate. As far as the major roadways in the low country, just seeing some minor delays along Okatee Highway as you head toward the east in that direction there toward Bluffton along May River Road, looking at some minor delays as well. 204, the main spot that we are seeing issues is right at King George Boulevard with speeds down to around 20 miles per hour. No issues along US 17, taking about the typical amount of time for this time of the day, about a half an hour to get down to Richmond Hill.